Hello. Okay, today is gonna be more Wind Waker. I'm gonna be continuing Wind Waker, but I said that I said what I'd do with Final Fantasy II is that I would play more of the game off stream, and then once I reach the final boss, I would fight the final boss on stream, so that I can at least do the finale of the game on stream, and then I'll talk about like what I think about it and rank it in my big list of games. My big list of Final Fantasy games. So, that's what's going to happen to start, is I'm right here at the, I'm right here at the final boss room. And I actually, yeah, it turns out me doing this was, playing most of the game off stream was a good idea. Because I played through most of the rest of Final Fantasy II in like 3 hours. And what I did was I played the game and I did record the footage. I did record the footage of me playing it, but that footage is muted because I was basically like playing the game. I had the game on one screen and was playing it, and was watching Kamen Rider Double on the other screen, and that was the that is tied with me the stream I did where I played the game, but where I played the game while also drawing pixel art. That's kind of the best time I had with this game, when I was doing something else and then just I also had a screen up playing it. So I do have yeah, I did take video footage of all my of all the rest of Final Fantasy II that I played off stream, but there's really nothing really interesting in there, at least to me. It's really all just like me going through the dungeons, going through the story, I say in quotes, and then just like getting here. So yeah, just when I'm talking about my final thoughts about the game, I might play some of the footage, but there's really yeah, when I talk about my favorite thoughts in the game, there might be then I might talk about my favorite thought then I might talk about what I thought about the game, but alright, then I might show some of the footage after the game. But after that, I will get to more Wind Waker, and that'll be continuing Wind Waker. So, yeah, let me just start out by I probably also I don't think I'm gonna count this as a full playthrough on like my big list of playthroughs, because I did do the start of this game and the end of this game on stream, but I didn't fully play through the game on stream. I did like play through the rest of it off stream. So I don't think I'll count this on my list of really me playing it on me really doing the finale on stream, the final battle on stream, is really just so that I can like have a brief little section of the game of the stream where I can like discuss my thoughts about the game, and also show y'all like how my party's gotten. So they're really freaking strong. So yeah, they're dead like in one turn. So I did try to like have my characters get better at magic, but I kind of just fell into the trap of it was just really like they're already really strong physical attacks, so it was really just easier to have them just keep spamming physical attacks, just their base attack. So Furion's got both the Excalibur and Bloodsword, which is like the two strongest weapons of the game, or like two of the strongest weapons of the game. MJ watching over on YouTube, welcome in. Maria has like the Ultima spell equipped, but I haven't had her use it because she can. Why bother? Like, okay, sure, it's the ultimate spell in the game, but why bother taking the time to level it up when I could just have her? When I could just have her like swing her really strong sword, and then also swing her knife, which hits twice in a single turn. And I also gave Guy some strong magic, but again, he's just really good physically attacking with physical attacks. And then Leon, I threw him some stuff here because he was the game mandate, he was the government mandated fourth party member for this game, for this final dungeon. he he was the game forced me to have him on my team, and well, his stats are so far below everyone else's. It's his stuff was so far below everyone else's. There's not really much reason to like give him the strong stuff. MJ says, "Sup, you're doing great, thank you." MJ over on YouTube says, "Can I make your streaming stuff?" No, I kind of already have people. I already have people. When it comes to stuff for my streams, either I make it myself or I have people that I already commission or work with to make what I need. So, and they do a really good job. So they do a really good job, and I trust their work, and I trust them, and they've shown themselves to be really reliable. So I'm just gonna stick with the people that I use. All right, so here we are. Here's the Emperor. To kind of show just how much I've, just by having my characters focus only on physical attack, how strong, just how I've how messed up things have gotten. I think that thing was supposed to be like a really big challenge. Like, it's doing the big it's doing it's got the big, like, the sprite slowly disintegrates effect that usually only is saved for, like, bosses. And it is a King Behemoth, and Behemoths are usually like one of the strongest enemies in any Final Fantasy game. So I think that enemy was supposed to be a big deal, and I killed them in like 2 hits. So here, we're just gonna go ahead and talk to this guy. Oh, right, I gotta... You have braved the bowels of hell to reach me. But the hand of man which deals in false justice and forsaken love can never hope to defeat the Lord Master of Hell. You were a guy like just like a few hours ago. Okay, guess we're fighting him. When I had my first fight against him, when I had my first fight against him, my party was so strong they killed him before they killed his guards. Oh. Well, Leon's dead. Anyway. MJ, I already said no. I guess just, keep using Bloodsword. That freaking blood sword does like 8,000 damage. Oh. That was 2 turns? Okay. Okay. All the powers of hell ain't shit. Anyway, well, bye, Emperor. Unbelievable, defeated by insects like you not once, but twice! Who are you? I don't even think they know. Ah! Well, good job, guys. You killed Satan. Is he Satan? He was the master of hell, so I guess he was Satan. It's done. Now let's get out of here. It's finally over, isn't it? Yes, thank goodness. It was a long struggle, but with the Emperor gone, we've nothing left to fear. Thank you. With all my heart, I thank you. With the combined strength of Kashwat and Finn, we will build the kingdom anew. Together, Princess, we will create a kingdom even fairer than the old. Though once a coward, I now stand here a new man. I have all of you to thank for that. You have my deepest gratitude. I'm sure Scott is smiling down on me from above. Look at you. Do you realize what you've done? What am I supposed to steal? Who am I supposed to steal from with the Empire God? You put me out of a job. I guess I'll just have to start stealing from you. You better watch your backs. Even as a joke, Paul, I get that you're joking here, but like, you don't want to threaten these guys. And I'm not saying that because they like just killed Satan, or they killed the guy who beat Satan. I'm not really sure how hell in this world works. I'm saying this because like, if anyone's just gonna hit first and ask questions never, it's this party. You sure showed up, Firion. You're every bit the bloke I pegged you for. If you ever feel like trying your hand at pirating, what, that not sit well with you, Maria? Looks like your next battle's already begun, Firion. Bye, Layla. You're the only character who I might remember from this game. You did. I'm sure my dad's happy for you too, up there above the clouds. I gotta be working here, serving the princess. Don't. You know, if they made a sequel to this, if they made a direct sequel to this game, it'd probably be this party going and charging into heaven, just to fight God. I just want to do whatever I can to help out. Joseph? We must now dedicate ourselves to the task of restoring what was lost. Farewell. Okay, get out of here now. Words can't express my gratitude to y'all, so get out.
War finally over.
Yes. We can all live in peace again, together. That's an odd silence. What do you mean, Firion? Right, Leon? There can be no going back. Not for all of us. But why? All you did was try to create a second evil empire to take over the world, and you only backed out of it because it turned out the first emperor beat up Satan and took his place. Firion, stop him! Maria, Leon is right. We've been through too much. I can't stop him, not now. Leon, we'll meet again. Ah, that's right. A couple party members actually died in this game. Well, we should be going to. This is only the beginning. Ah, okay. And I'm done. Oh, wait. Their long struggle was finally at an end. The Emperor Pandemonium? The monsters plaguing the world. All had vanished without a trace. Peace had returned once more. The wounds of the war would mend. And the memory of those bitter days would fade. It was a little hard to read that white text over the white background. But one thing would never be forgotten. that a band of young heroes once saved the world. Okay, and I'm done. That was... okay. I am really close to deciding between whether this game sits in a D tier or an F tier. I know it has its fans, and I've talked to their and I've talked to some of those fans, and they've made their points, and they've made some good points about why they like this game. But and it was the second Final Fantasy they'd made, so this is still early in the series, and I know it's like, okay, game development back in the 80s was not what it was like now, where if you made a successful game, it's like, and now you have enough money to make a sequel, it's like, okay, let's make the sequel like the first game and just do more, or let's take a different sometimes let's take a different direction from the first game and do something completely different. Like almost every single video game series, most video game series that were starting out in the 80s, in the late 80s, they did something very different for the sequel because they were trying to experiment, and they were really trying to experiment. Like Mario 2 was completely different than Mario 1. Zelda 2 was completely different than Zelda 1. Final Fantasy 2 was completely different than Final Fantasy 1. And so I do have to give it. I do have to mention that at the time, going with a completely different game style than what the first game went with was something a lot of game series did, fledgling game series did. And also, I mean, Final Fantasy 1 wasn't a good game. That game, it was important. It was important for gaming history, but it doesn't hold up at all, at least in my opinion. So them going for something completely different from what they did in Final Fantasy 1 would be... I don't blame them for doing that. And there are some ideas that are in this gameplay system that when brought into that would still carry through to future Final Fantasy games and would work really well, work better in those games. But the game system is so broken in this that I think this is the kind of game where the people who are fans of it are the people who are the biggest appeal this game is going to have is as someone who loves taking a game's systems and messing with them until they break the game, until they just break the gameplay and can just one-shot everything, because it's really easy to do that in this. But the problem with that, and that's not a bad thing, but okay, well, that can be a problem because, well, for an RP, in a shorter game, that's less of a problem. But in a bigger game like this, that took me 30 hours to beat, a gameplay system that I've just rendered pointless in the first couple of hours, that's gonna drag. That's gonna make the whole game drag for the rest of that time. And there's really nothing to this. There's nothing interesting going on with the characters. There's nothing interesting going on with the story. Okay, you are fighting an evil empire, but you don't really find out much about that. I completely forgot that Leon, Maria's brother, was even a character until after we beat the Emperor, and then we just went to have victory dance at the castle, and then it was oh my gosh, Maria, your brother Leon, he's back, and he's evil. And then we just went to go see him, and then before we could even fight him or have a talk to him about don't be evil, Leon. Then the Emperor says, psych, I'm actually doing better now that I'm in hell. So, gosh, and I had problems with Final Fantasy 1's dungeon design. I had big problems with Final Fantasy 1's dungeon design. but there's a bigger, but there, this game actually even has more of a problem with this dungeon design. And I realized while I was playing this off stream that like what's bringing it so close to F tier is not even any of the things I mentioned. Because that's the rest of that stuff I can be like willing to like give a little, like, to be a little bit lighter on it, because this was like the second game. This was like the second game of the series at a time, like, I think this released like maybe the same year Dragon Quest 3 released, or like right before Dragon Quest 3. So these were still developers still trying to figure out how to make a game like this work. The thing that I'm like, that is making me consider dragging this down into F tier is there's something about the dungeons, and I didn't even realize this until after I played, until I was like playing it off stream. And I think I think I might have mentioned this on stream like a little bit, but I didn't realize how bad of a problem is until I was playing this off stream. And that is almost every floor of every dungeon, in every dungeon on almost every floor, there is at least one room that is just an empty room. There is no treasure chests in it. There's no NPCs or like notable landmarks in there. There's nothing in these rooms except that you go, like, you walk through the door, you stand in them, and then you walk right back out. And because you walk through that room, you might get into another fight. So part of me thinks that, oh, maybe they're just supposed to be like trap rooms, so you go into them and like, oh no, you get into a fight. But no, you're not locked into the fight. That fight happens because of like random enemy encounters. It doesn't happen because there's an enemy in the room waiting for you. And it's not like there's a trap, in the game, because there are traps in some of these dungeons. There's like an electric floor in one of the dungeons, and like and like lava in another one. So there are traps in this, so that's not the point. They're just empty rooms. They're pointless. And the reason why that, like, it's kind like, so I didn't realize it until off stream, but like so much of the dungeons is these empty rooms, which are really just a waste of space and a waste of time. Because I mean, if you got all these empty rooms in the dungeon, put something in them. Put a stronger enemy for me to encounter. Put an NPC in there just to say hi. And tell me about how like they were kidnapped by the Empire and how awful the Empire is. Put a treasure chest in there. Put a treasure chest in there. Something. It's like I don't hate this game. I don't hate this game. Like, I play this and I think to myself, like, yeah, I feel nothing for it. I don't hate it, but I'm also like, but it's not the middle of the road okay. It's more just like, okay, fine. It's like, gosh. This game is the equivalent of, like, not the worst coworker you have at a job, like the one who shows up to a shift drunk and is like making inappropriate jokes about every female customer who comes in. They're not the worst. This game is not the worst coworker you got, but they're the second worst. They're the one who you've told them 100 times how to work this thing, and they keep it. And every time you've tried telling them 100 times how to work this thing, and every time they say they've got it, but they don't have the process down, and they keep messing it up. And they're always listening to music like a little too loud right next to you when you're on your work shift, and it's gotten to the point where you kind of just like them to maybe get some headphones and put them in. But they don't listen when you ask them to but they don't listen when you ask them to do that. This game is the equivalent of like the coworker that doesn't make you. This game is the equivalent of the coworker that makes you think, gosh, I gotta get away from this job. Not the coworker that says we need to talk to management or we need to get this person out of here now. They're the ones that make you. This game is the equivalent to the coworker that makes you like reconsider your long-term your position at the company you're working with. So It's definitely at the highest I could put it in D tier. And this game did serve as inspiration for other games. Like this system here of like you raise all your stats by using them, that has been used to much greater effect in a much better effect in other RPGs, and I could even see how it could be used pretty well in other RPGs, in other turn-based RPGs, in other Final Fantasy games. And those games would have gotten the idea because like those games would have taken this gameplay would have taken the ideas from this gameplay system and gone farther with them because Final Fantasy 2 started it. But I just changed the fact that it's really bad here. I just two-shot the boss. With the final boss of the game, I killed in 2 attacks with my standard attack, and I did not do any level grinding because I did not care enough about this game to go to do level grinding. The gameplay is so broken. It is so broken, and I get like to certain people in a good way, but to me not in a good way, to where the final boss I could just easily dunk them. I think okay, let me get my big list out. And I think where I'm gonna rank this one. So we have our going back to the giant first fantasy list. Going back to my big first fantasy list, finally can add another game to this. So, for those who weren't here for the previous rankings, here's how things are looking so far. Final Fantasy IX and Final Fantasy VII are tied for first place in the S tier. Even though like Final Fantasy IX is above Final Fantasy VII, I can't really like put them side by side. So they're tied for right now for first place. Eventually, I do want to replay through both these games to kind of decide which one I like more. Because it's like neck and neck. It's neck and neck with these two games, and I have a like every day I go flip flop between which of these two I like more. In A tier, so far, currently the only game in A tier is Final Fantasy VII Remake. In B tier, so far the only game is Final Fantasy VI. In C tier, so far the only game is Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. D tier, so far the only game is Final Fantasy 1. And there's no games in F tier so far. So to kind of like say, okay, to kind of, for those who weren't here for the previous rankings, because it has been a long time since I ranked one of these games in this big list. What each of these tier means is S tier, I want to play, I had a wonderful time with this game. This game is now, it lives rent-free in my head. It lives rent-free in my head. It's one of my new favorites, and I definitely want to play it again at some point. After playing Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy IX, I was immediately like, gosh, I want to play those games again at some point. And I might replay them on stream at some point. A tier is a really good game. There might be some major problems with it, but overall, it's a really good game, and that I would recommend to people. And I might go back to play that game again in like after enough time has passed, after quite a bit of time passed. Like for example, Final Fantasy VII Remake. I said after I play through FF7 Rebirth and eventually get to FF7 Revelation, what I'll probably do at some point after I play through those other two games is I might come back and replay through FF7 Remake, Rebirth, and Revelation like in a row, all together, like the whole trilogy. B tier is like, those are overall pretty good games, but either there was stuff in them that wasn't appealing to me, or like major problems I had with the game, to the point where I'm like, I don't know if maybe I might play that again, but I don't know. And I don't know. Like, it's a game that even if I don't play it again, I'll appreciate that I did play through it. Like Bloodborne. If this was like me ranking other games I played, Bloodborne would probably sit in the B tier as like a game that's like I am glad that I played it, but I don't know if I want to play it again. I appreciate it, and I do like some parts, and I do really like, I do like quite a bit of it, but there's also some parts of it that I really don't like. But overall, it's on the more positive. It's on the more positive side of that, and I do overall think it's a good game. C tier, C tier is like, that's a game where C tier is like, that's a game that I can see appealing to some people, but I definitely don't want to play it again. And I definitely don't want to play it again. And if it wasn't for the streams, I might have if I might put like, I probably will. I will definitely never stream a C tier game again, and maybe I might play it off stream. But if I'm gonna play it off stream, it's really just gonna be like playing it off stream whilst I do something else, whilst I watch something else. Like, it's gonna be like something to do with my hands whilst I watch something else. D tier with D tiers are like, those games would only come back, like I would only play through those again if I thought of a stream idea where I would play them for like a special challenge, like a donation thing, like donate this, like for a donathon, or for like a challenge run where you could donate money in order to like mess with the game for me. There are like games in higher tiers that I will probably bring back for like challenge runs, but basically for a game in D tier, I'll probably only play it again if you see it. I'll probably only play it again if it's like on stream for some sort of challenge run idea I have that I think, basically I have to, in a D tier game, I have to make my own fun. That's a good way to qualify it, this. S tier games I have a lot of fun with, and I want to go back, and I think that if I go back and play them again, I'll have that same amount of fun. A tier games, I have quite a bit of fun with them, and I think I think I need to take a break from them, and like eventually I might come back to them, and I might still have that amount of fun. B tier games, I do have some fun with them, but I don't know. I don't think I would have that same amount of fun. I don't think I would have fun with them again if I played them a second time. C tier games are games where I'm gonna have fun with them if I'm playing them. If I'm really only playing them to just have them just do something while I watch a show or watch a YouTube video. It's the equivalent of like doing dishes so that you can like get something done whilst you're listening to a good while you're watching to a good YouTube video or watching a show, like doing chores. The C tier games are like chores, I guess you could say. D tier games are like the main reason I'd bring this back would be for a donation or like challenge run. So in essence, a D tier game, you would have to pay me to make me play this game again. Wouldn't have to, maybe not have to be a lot of money. Maybe not have to be a lot of money. You could just throw down $100 and say, someone could just throw down $100 and say, bro, go play Final Fantasy 1 again, and I would do it. But you would have to donate money in order to make me play a D tier game again. An F tier game is a game that I'd never want to play again. I consider, like, if a game is an F tier, I consider it a waste of time, and it holds no value. Like, one of the few games I've ranked in an F tier for anything, like, because I have like a multiple of these ranking lists. I've got like PS1 ranking list, Game Boy Advance ranking list. One of the only games I've ranked in an F tier list is like the D&D fighting game, Warriors of Ravenloft. Yeah, Blood and Iron Warriors of Ravenloft. Because I don't like, even as a Dungeons and Dragons game, I think that game holds no value. There's no reason to play it. You're not gonna get anything from it. There's not a so bad it's good enjoyment you could get out of it. It's just, it's gonna feel like playing a game in F tier is gonna feel like you opened up your bank account to check to see like how much money you have left, and then you find out that suddenly you've gotten hit with a big expense that you were not prepared for, and suddenly you're like $200. You're $200. You're $200 or $300. You've lost $200 or $300, or a lot of money that you were not expecting to lose. That's what playing an F tier game feels like. Now, you could potentially pay me. You could potentially pay me to play an F tier game, but you would have to pay a lot. Like, you could pay me like $100, maybe like, yeah, $100, $200 to play Final Fantasy One again. You'd have to pay me at least $1,000 to pay for me to play like an F tier game again. Like it's so. With that said, looking at this list. Oh, hi, Pokemaster Cube. Welcome in. And I should mention, this is really just my opinion. This list is my opinion. So I know like Final Fantasy VI is a lot of people's favorites, and I can kind of see why, in some parts, but it's not for me. Okay, for Final Fantasy II, I do think overall I'm gonna put it at the bottom of D tier. I do see some value in it. It's a small amount of value, but I do think that like if someone who likes to break open a game, like take a game systems and just like rip them apart and break the game's gameplay so much to where they're overpowered and could like one shot everything. I think they could get some fun out of this game. But that's really the only person I could see getting like having a good time. That's really like the only way I could see someone having a good time with this, unless they just like really vibe with Final Fantasy II's world. But even then, I don't really see how they could, because there's nothing to the characters. There's really nothing to the world. It's like if there's any aspect of this game that you do like as far as characters or story or world, there's like probably at least 5 other Final Fantasy games that you could go to that you could get that from. So yeah, I do think I'm going to put this in D tier because this is only the second game in the series. And it was made at a time when where every video game franchise that was starting out, every video game series that was starting out, that was it was a heavy hitter today. All these series were just starting out, and like all of them were like, okay, let's do something completely different for our second game instead of just building on what we did for the first game. And then like usually it didn't work. And then that usually led to them going, okay, that failed. That failed. Let's go take what we did in the first and second game, see what worked, and then let's put that together for the third game, which was usually where things really got going for a lot of these series. Like it was the case. We'll see if this is the case for Final Fantasy III. I've heard some people really like Final Fantasy III. I've heard some people really didn't like Final Fantasy III. But it was the case in a lot of series like Mario. Mario 1 was a pretty good game. Mario 2, nobody really likes Mario 2. And then they built on after making both those games, and the devs were like, okay, now let's make Mario 3, and that's where the series really got, and that's where a lot of people really think that Mario got things going. Similar with Metroid. Metroid 1 was overall like Metroid 1 and like Metroid 2, which was on the Game Boy. Both of those games, after making both of those games, the devs were like, okay, let's look at what we did in these first 2 games, see what really worked, and then let's hone in on that for the third game, which ended up being Super Metroid and did really well. So we'll have to see if that's the case for Final Fantasy III, which that might be the next mainline Final Fantasy game I play. Just to let y'all know where things are at. Okay, so I did start Bravely Default and Octopath Traveler 1 in my spare time off stream. And I'm sorry, I really wanted to play through like every single one of these games on this list on stream. I really wanted to have like a full stream, like fully stream through every single one of these games on this list. And it's not even like even as bad an experience or like boring, honestly, I'd say boring. I wouldn't say that I had an awful time playing Final Fantasy II. I would just say it was boring. And like even the bad Final Fantasy games that I knew going into this, I still wanted to stream through the bad, or in this case for FF2, boring Final Fantasy games, because I wanted to like fully go through this. So I do have to apologize, because that's what I wanted to do for all these games, but because of what happened in my life with me losing my job and having to start a new one, and me having to move to my parents' house, and everything that's happened with that, it's really cut down on the amount of time I've had to stream. So I'm still gonna try to stream most of these games. Like, I'm only gonna play a game off stream if, like, I try it off stream and then I decide, okay, I think this is one I could do better, or I could have a better experience with if I play it off stream instead of on stream. Or if I'm, like, playing it off stream and I think I'm already, like, not having that good of a... If I try it off stream and I think, okay, I'm, like, only 20 minutes in and I'm already, like, not invested in this game. If I'm not, like, if I'm already 3 hours in and I'm not invested in anything in this game, if that's the case, then it's like, okay, then if that's the case with one of these games, I'm like, okay, I'll play it off stream. But most of these, like, so far, only two other games on this list are ones I'm gonna play off stream. Octopath, like Bravely Default 1 and Octopath Traveler 1. The other, like, I'd have to, if there's any games that I think, like, I'd want to play them off stream as well, I'd have to try them out, a little bit of them out first, and see if that's the case. And most of these games, I don't think that. Most of these games are, like, are at least interesting enough to me to where I'm like, I want to play this on stream. Even if it ends up a bad time, I do want to play it on stream so I can see it, so y'all can watch in real time and enjoy as I either experience a game I really love or experience a game I really don't like. So, okay, that's where we're at. So, Final Fantasy, that's where we're at. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Final Fantasy games done. So I've got about 44 minus 7. That's 37 left. So I've got about 37 of these games left. And I mean, I've already started on 2 of them with Octopath Traveler 1 and Bravely Default. So I am gonna, as soon as I can get some of the things I want to done, like I need to play through all these games, for, like, do all this stuff for the Donathon, all these Donathon goals. And as soon as I play through some of the other games from, like, the donation duels from last year, and some other games from, like, previous events that I still need to get to. Once I've gotten through, like, all these games I really need to play on stream because people paid me to. Then I'm just gonna dive in to Final Fantasy and play through, like, at least 2 Final Fantasy games at a time. Sleep says, sorry I'm late, was running an errand. Congrats on beating FF2? Sleepless, you missed my entire spiel. Well, okay, well, don't feel bad. Do not feel bad. You had to run an errand, but you had to run an errand, and I just announced this at, like, the start of the stream that I'd be doing this. But yeah, you did. For those just coming in, you did miss the full spiel on FF2. I guess I can give my abridged thoughts if you'd like me to. Oh, hey, Scorcher, welcome in. Yeah, if y'all would like me to, I can give my abridged thoughts on what I thought of Final Fantasy 2. As you can see, it's here at the bottom of the D tier, but it just barely got out of being in the F tier. Pokemon Cube says, too long, didn't read. It was a game. I'm not even sure we could say that. Okay, so to sum up how things went, I did fight the final boss on stream. I beat it in 2 hits. I beat it in not 2 special attacks, 2 physical attacks. That blood sword was really strong. Y'all were right about that. That blood, like, dang, that blood sword. Slim says, FF2 is notoriously one of the games of all time. See, I can give it, okay, so I'll go ahead and give I won't go into the full spiel again, but I'll give my abridged thoughts on this. I can give Final Fantasy 2 a little bit of a leeway, because even though it was the second game in the second game in the series, specifically at a time where for most video game series, they really didn't know what to do with the second game in their series. Like, you go back and look at, like, games in the late 80s, they made a first game, which people really liked, Mario, Metroid, Zelda 1, and then they were like, okay, now we gotta make a sequel. What do we do? And a lot of these game series, including Final Fantasy, were like, well, let's try something completely different. And usually it didn't work. Now, Final Fantasy II actually had one of the best reasons to try something different, because I think Final Fantasy Final Fantasy 1 is also in the D tier. So I don't think, like, they did recognize that, okay, what we did in what we did with the first game, that's not going to work. Let's try, we're copying Dungeons and Dragons too much. We need to try our own thing. And they did try their own thing. They just didn't do it well. They didn't do it well at all. And they had, like, again, there are other games that do take this gameplay system of, like, okay, you're in a turn-based RPG, but every single one of your abilities gets stronger when you use it. There are other games that do this, but all of them, and they all got that idea from this game, but they all do it so much better. Really, okay, the reason, but even also there's, like, if there was something else in the game, like good story, good characters, an interesting world I want to explore, that could be something that could, like, help it out. But there's none of that in here. And really, okay, but really, I have to mention this. It's actually not any of that that's dragging it so close to the F tier, is how boring of an experience. How boring of an experience I had in this game is actually not the thing that's dragging it so close to the F tier. Because honestly, my best time playing this game was, like, the stream I did where I played this game and drew pixel art on stream at the same time. And or when I was playing it off stream, I did record the footage I have of playing it off stream, but there's really nothing interesting in there, at least to me. And off stream, like, the best time I had playing this game was either drawing pixel art while playing it, or off stream where I was watching Kamen Rider Double. And this was really just something I was doing to the side whilst I was watching Kamen Rider Double. That's how good Kamen Rider Double is. That's how good Kamen Rider Double is. It managed to drag this game out of the F tier. Because what got this game so close to the F tier for me was me realizing in the final dungeon, which is really might be the only dungeon I remember, because it was kind of a cool idea to have, like, this very crystalline hell in space. Like, crystal space hell is kind of a cool idea. I just wish they, like, made it a good, well-designed dungeon. Yeah, the thing that's dragging it so close to F, that dragged it almost into F tier for me, is the fact that, like, it's a seemingly small thing, but it just bothers me so much. In every single dungeon in this game, in almost every single floor, there's always at least one room with nothing in it. There's no traps, there's no treasure chests, there's no NPCs, there's not a special enemy, there's nothing in there. It is just a room that is there to make you go in, say, oh, there's nothing here, and then walk back out. It's a room to waste your time. On every floor, in every dungeon of this game. That is bad. That is awful dungeon design. One of them, in one of the dungeons, would be like, okay, I guess they just couldn't fit anything into this room. It's in, like, every floor of every dungeon. There are probably more rooms like that in these dungeons in this game than there are actual rooms with stuff in them. So it says, no, you have the most batshit insane party who actively kick their own asses for stats in combat. See, I kind of wouldn't mind a remake to this game, but if they did, I feel like what they would have to do to make the party interesting is have them lean into that. Make the party really crazy. Every member of the FF2 party is insane for different reasons, but yeah, so it's almost at an F tier, this game is, but it's almost at an F tier, but Kamen Rider like drawing pixel art and watching Kamen Rider Double while playing it managed to drag it up back into D tier. So he says this game's never getting remade. I know, and that's okay. I'm good with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, we did get the pixel remaster, so it technically did. Yeah, okay, we did get this pixel remaster, and it technically got remade through that, but yeah, no, this is fine. This pixel remaster, like, available on any system, so you can play it if you want it. Good, it's fine. Yeah, don't force a There are some games that I think could be good to see get remakes, or could be interesting to get remakes. This is not one of them, and it's not because it's such a great game that, like, it's not that it's such a great game to where it's not the case of like, oh, it's such a great game that it needs to be that it shouldn't. You should just make it available on all systems for people to play on its own, like with Silent Hill 1, 2, and with Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3. No, it's like, well, Silent Hill 1 and 2. It's a case of like, why would you waste your like? You could have your dev team do so much, spend their time doing other stuff. Okay, so, but that's the end of Final Fantasy 2. So, I'm gonna and just to let y'all know, so I have started Bravely Default and Octopath Traveler 1 off stream, and that's probably how I'm gonna play those games. And as soon as I can stream more, and like finish with the Donathon, get through some of these Donathon goals I need to get through, and play some of these other games play some of these other games that y'all paid me to play, or that I said I would play. Once I get through like a lot of those, I'm gonna dive into Final Fantasy games. Just play through like 2 or 3 Final Fantasy games at a time. Now, most of these games will not be played off stream. I'm gonna play through most of them on stream. It's really just a case of like, if I'm gonna for a game that I might consider playing off stream, I'm gonna like try it out for like the first 2 or 3 hours of the game. And if I'm like at the point like in the first 2 or 3 hours where I'm like, I'd rather like, if I'm at the like point 2 or 3 hours where I'm like, I'm not sure that I'd want to like, I'm not engaging with this. And really, this is a game I'd much rather play while like watching more episodes of Columbo or watching more Kamen Rider Double than at that point, like, okay, let me play this off stream. And Bravely Default and Octopath 1, actually, I tried them out for a few hours earlier this week, and yeah, both of them hit that point. I might change my mind on them. I might change my mind like as I go through them. I'm not saying I dislike those games because I'm literally just starting on them. I'm literally just starting at them, and my opinion on them could change. And if I do end up deciding like if the games do change to the point where like they improve to where I end up getting like, oh dang, this is I was completely wrong. I gotta play this on stream so I can talk with people while I'm playing it. Then yeah, I'll restart them and like play them on stream. But we'll just have to see if that happens. I'll let y'all know if that happens. So, I am gonna take a short break. We're gonna get to the thing that y'all really came here to see. I'm gonna take a short break, and when I get back, we're gonna get to the thing y'all really came here to see, which is me talking about the Shantae news, which just came out. Also, Wind Waker.